Now, Canon, I'm not sure if you're a sports fan, but did you hear that Tom Brady had his dog cloned after it died? Louis is asking, is this playing God? Is animal cloning, does that go against the teachings of the Catholic Church? What do you think?
I am indeed a sports fan, as anyone who knows me personally knows. I love sports very much. I've admired Tom Brady on the field, at least, for many years, even if I never cheered for the Patriots. But I find this story disturbing, even though, as the questioner correctly says, pets do not have immortal souls like we do, and so when they die, their soul dissolves with their, so to speak. It's not something physical, but it's a physical principle that they have a soul that is not immortal in the way that ours is. Is it wrong what Tom Brady did? In and of itself, is it wrong to clone? That's a separate question. I would suspect that Tom Brady, by this very fact, probably has an unhealthy attachment to the pet itself, and is unwilling to let natural causes take their due course, and therefore grieve in a perfectly healthy and Christian way the loss of a cherished pet. And so it could manifest a desire on his part, to play God, as the questioner says, trying to impose our control on natural causes beyond what is reasonable and just, because it, is a perfectly superfluous thing to do, to clone a pet. I think it's, at the very least an imperfection, but I would lean towards saying that it is indeed something that's improper, that there's no greater good that's being sought in the cloning of this dog, other than to satisfy our attachment to something other than God himself.
Now, to end the show, Father Jim asked this question. It's an interesting one. I'm a fan of the NFL and have always cheered on my team, the Eagles. I watch nearly every game and I stay up to date with them and their news. However, I'm starting to worry that this could be a form of idolatry, as I seem to be more invested in them than God. What do you think about this, Father? Any advice?
This is an excellent question, one I ask myself often as a great fan of American football. If the first sin of Jin, of course, is cheering for the Eagles. Just kidding. But I'm a proud Bills fan and a Lions fan, being here in Detroit. But it's an important question, because St. Francis de Sales, I'm so glad that you'll be reading the Introduction to the Devout Life. In that very work, he talks about legitimate recreations, and it's perfectly legitimate for us to recreate, following sports, playing sports ourselves. But St. Francis de Sales, he asks us to do a little examination of conscience. The danger is that a recreation become what he calls an occupation. When it begins to really weigh on our heart, when it begins to obscure the love, adoration, the thanksgiving that I owe to God alone. And Jim, the fact that you're asking that question is a very good question, and probably a sign that perhaps you should cut back a little bit. It's certainly good for you to follow your favorite sports team, but we can always ask ourselves, in our nightly examine, did I spend more time, worried about the trade deadline this last Tuesday, and not enough about when I'm going to get to confession next, or about what the daily mass readings were? It's an important question for us to ask at any moment, not only about sports, but is there anything in my life that is no longer merely a recreation, or no longer merely a work that I have to do? Has it become an occupation in that Salesian sense? Is it something that's obscuring the reign of God, the reign of Christ the King in my life and heart?
Amazing. Jim, thank you for that question. I know a lot of people will resonate with that, especially in California. I mean, when it's baseball season and it's like the World Series, man, everybody goes bananas. Everybody's watching. And so great question to end off our show. Do you want to support Ask a Priest Live? Click here to donate to this channel and support our mission, or donate safe and secure at thestationofthecross.com.